Welcome back to Studio F, where on Fast Time with Willy B, we'll be reviewing challengers. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Russell!
Welcome back to Fast Time with Willy B. I'm Willy B. I got Rosie back. Rosie, how we doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing good, doing good.
Awesome.
So got Rosie back for another appearance, and today we'll be reviewing Challengers, the newest movie from Luca Guadagnino. And he's got a resume on him. Call Me By Your Name, Bones and All, that we saw last year, among others. Brings in a very good top three cast here. Zendaya, probably the biggest name.
Of course.
And then Mike Feist and Josh O'Connor playing our two guys in this thruple love triangle, dramatic romance sports movie.
Very dramatic.
So we'll hop into the good, and I want to start with the direction.
Okay.
Guadagnino did a great job once again. He makes these movies that it seems like are hit or miss for a lot of people. Like Bones and All, a prime example from last year.
Yeah.
Or 2 years. No, last year.
Last year, I believe.
A lot of people loved it. A lot of people were like, I don't get it. He has these complex stories, but one thing always holds true, and it's his direction. You can tell where he's going with everything, what he wants, and he makes a spectacle. Whether you love the story or not, you can't take away from what he does as a director.
Yeah.
He does it once again here with great camera work.
For sure.
Great performances. Just everything about his direction in this film was probably the best part for me. We could talk about the performances too.
Sure.
We really follow along these three characters. We have Zendaya playing Tashi Duncan into Tashi Donaldson. Art Donaldson played by Mike Feist, and then Josh O'Connor plays Patrick. All three of them were phenomenal.
I really thought they had great chemistry together.
It seems like a lot of people are loving all three of them. It seems like, at least what I've seen, and I like to roll through Letterboxd a little bit after I get out of a movie and see what other people thought of it. And this one, it seems like Zendaya, if any actress or actor is getting a little knock, it seems like she's the one getting the knock, which I was surprised by because I thought she was the stand. I thought all three of them were at the top of their game, but Zendaya blew me away.
I wonder what they were saying about her.
But
I don't know.
A very complex character in Tashi.
Yes.
And I thought Zendaya killed it. It was one of my favorite performances at first.
I can't think of a bad performance she's had in anything she's been in.
No, and you always have that Disney turned actor/actress, can they make it in a more serious role? And we've seen it with Zendaya before this movie because she's in the Dune franchise. Zac Efron got his, in the Iron Claw. So we're starting to see more and more of these Disney turned stars make their way into Hollywood. And Zendaya's solidified. She stapled her name down as a big name actress. I mean, she did it with Dune Part 2, and I think this is another one to throw on the resume and one of her best performances.
Wasn't she she produced it or something? I think
she might have. She might have,
on the credits.
But that's another thing that's happening a lot too, is the main stars of films hopping on the production train, getting in the director's chair. You can't blame them.
Not at all.
But Zendaya blew me away once again. Like I said, I think she's probably, when it comes to Disney stars turned into Hollywood, I think she's at the top of the charts, top of the game.
I agree.
But again, she blew me away, and that's not to take away. I thought Mike Feist and Josh O'Connor were also fantastic.
Yeah. Are they in anything big?
Feist was in the movie I saw last year about the pinball machines. The invention of the pinball machines. Why can't I think? Or no, Tetris. Sorry. He was in Tetris. He was the lead in Tetris.
Okay.
I loved Tetris. Okay. And I didn't even realize those were the same guy. Because in Tetris, he's kind of aged. And in this one, he's...
His age.
Yeah. He's de-aged.
Right.
So I didn't even realize it until I was... checked the credits. I was like, oh my God, Mike Feist. Because I knew who he was going into this film.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was him in Tetris.
I see.
So I was like, wow. So that's another performance of his I like, but I think he did great once again here. And I thought O'Connor, like you said, they all had great chemistry.
Yeah, I really think even, like, when they were playing, like, their younger selves and then back to present day, I don't know. I think they all did a really great job keeping up with... It was very all over the place. Not a bad way, of course, but their relationship together was kind of here and there, and I think they really did a great job working the three of them together to making it very thought out and very well put together.
For sure. You gotta be on top of your game for a romantic thriller with this much tension. That's another thing I'd throw in the good is every single scene, you know...
You see me sitting up on the edge of my seat several times because I was like, oh God, what's going to happen now?
There's so many lighthearted scenes for sure, but it seems like every scene, at least at one point, finds a way to sneak some tension in there.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just throughout the whole 2+ hour runtime, again, you're sitting on the edge of your seat. This is one that, like, even again, if you don't love the story... You find a little bit of emotional attachment to it because of the tension you feel throughout the entire runtime.
For sure. I also thought it had some laughter.
Yeah.
It had some,
for sure.
Some funny moments in it. I think the two guys together were definitely just two guys.
Yeah.
I think they were great together.
Continue with the direction, camera work. There was a lot of cool shots in this film. You know, there was a lot of normal camera techniques and the still shots and most of the scenes, but we got some unique ones with the under the tennis court shot. Yeah. The shot like we're in the perspective of the tennis ball. A lot of cool ways to like switch things up, I thought.
Yeah, for sure.
And it also led to a lot of cool transitions. I love the transitions.
I thought that those are things I don't really think of while I'm watching a movie, but those are things that I can reflect back on after, like when we sit down and do this and talk about it. I even said that the very first time we seen the tennis ball flying through the air, and it was like, if we were wearing 3D glasses, that would have been great.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I whispered in your ear, I was like, I really liked how they did that. So I'm glad they kept doing it.
For sure.
Especially with the more intense moments.
Yeah.
Like when they were getting down to the wire and they were like...
the third set. And
one more point to go wins. I'm glad they did that because you don't want to just seeing the ball go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
You're not watching tennis on TV.
No, it gets boring.
Yeah. And
you can't really tell the intent. But with the score in the background and everything, it was very well done.
The score was fantastic. There was really only one piece of the score I didn't think fit, and it was towards the beginning. It was just kind of a high emotion scene, and then the score came in at level 300, and it was a little bit much. But other than that, I thought the score was fantastic. One of the better scores of the year, I'd even go as far to say so far. I don't know. It was more of an upbeat score than usual.
Yeah,
but I liked it. It fit. It fit because it's it's a sports movie, but it's also just this romantic sex thriller.
Yeah.
And upbeat just made sense.
Yeah, I've said this several times on this. I don't always listen to the score in the background because I don't know. That's just not what... Like, when we're
usually,
walking,
if a score doesn't catch your attention...
It
means it probably fit.
That's true.
You're more likely to catch something like, whoa, why was that there?
And I think there was, like, some parts towards the end, I believe. Maybe the part where she had just tried practice again with her after the injury, and she was sitting by the tree. I don't remember if that was it. When I was like, I don't know. It was different than what had happened prior. Yeah. So maybe that's why it piqued my interest. But, even I...
Yeah. I loved the score. And, going back to the tension, too, and the score kind of playing into it, not just tension in this film. There's a lot of sexual tension in this film.
Yeah, but no actual sex we see. It is obviously...
It obviously
happens. Yes.
But, we have the sexual tension between Zendaya and Patrick because they dated first. Then the tension between Zendaya and Art because Art's never stopped loving her. then there's this tension between Art and Patrick. That, like, you know, she says at the beginning of the movie, I don't want to be a homewrecker. There is this, you know, underlying gay tone to these two characters, and it makes it kind of, like I said, a throuple in the sense that, like, we get a little bit of kissing from them. Zendaya kind of tricks them into it, but, like, it's just so she can prove, like, there's some feelings there. You know, these two are best friends for how long? But there's some feelings there. You can tell there's that sexual tension. Mm-hmm. The sauna scene was another one where you felt that sexual tension. So it was crazy just seeing the dynamic between him and her, him and her, him and him, and just like how it all played out. Again, just goes into that tension, and the score added another element to that tension. Yeah. And just, again, going back, it wraps all up into that direction of Guadagnino. And I thought he did a fantastic job with all of it.
Mm-hmm. I would... don't have anything else to add to that. Yeah. You pretty much hit the nail right on the head with that.
Now, this can be a good transition from the good to the meh, because this is a good for me. Mm-hmm. I loved the pacing of this film. This was a 2-hour movie, and it honestly felt really fast to me. It felt like, not really fast, it felt like it ran smoothly.
Right.
Like, I never once was like, oh, this movie's dragging on.
Yeah.
But for a 2-hour movie, I thought it moved pretty well.
Yeah.
There were a lot of time jumps, and for me, I like the time jumps. We start in present day, then we go back 12 years, then like 3 years ahead, then back 13, and it's jumping all over the place. And yes, that can be really hard for, like, you know, to keep up with. I mean, if you're locked in the theater, it's not too bad. They do a really good job at letting you know when the time jumps are happening.
Yes. But
I get it. It forces you to pay 100% attention. As somebody who loves movies, that's no big deal for me.
Right.
With some of the attention spans these days, it might not hit well for others, but I love the time jumps. I thought they worked really well. I thought it was a fun story to keep going back and forth and forward and backwards. I had 3 different sections, the back to the start, like, all the time. And for me, it was just a fun ride. I think it helped the pacing, rather than just going in chronological.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I know, well, in the goods for me there, you kind of thought the time jumps were a meh. So this will take us into our meh.
Okay.
And I know you...
I think that's all I have for the meh.
Is the time jumps?
Yeah. I know as soon as it started, just like... What was it? Sting? Or the one with the spider?
No, Sting, yeah.
Sting, yeah. I knew, like, not even 5 minutes into the movie... They play a little snippet, and then we're jumping backwards. And as soon as that popped up on the screen, you're like, oh, God. So you already knew that I wasn't going to be a fan. But honestly, sometimes time jumps and things like that can be in the bad for me, just because I don't I'm not always locked in. Mm-hmm. But for this one, it's going in the meh, because I was able to distinguish everything that was going on.
Yeah.
The only thing maybe I would have changed was maybe going from present day to, like, I understand that they had been friends for years and years and years. So I think it was, like, 12 years, and then it was 11 years, and it was, like, 3 months, and 8 years, and I was like, oh, my God, can we please pick a time frame?
Yeah.
But, honestly, it wasn't terrible.
Yeah. For me in the meh, not necessarily, I don't know how to quote this, because I want to say cheating narrative, but I don't think the cheating narrative is a bad route, because, unfortunately, it's just real. Cheating happens.
Right.
But I really fell in love with Art's character. I thought he was a good dude. Did he have a little Snake moment where he kind of said he's not in love with you? Yes. But throughout most of the movie, I felt bad for this guy because he was so in love with her. He was just playing tennis because it's what she wanted. She was living vicariously through him. And this whole time, behind his back, every big tournament that Patrick ends up being at, she's sleeping with him. And I don't know. I put it in the meh because it kind of just broke my heart a little bit, I guess.
I would agree.
I guess it's not bad storytelling because, again, it happens, but...
It was a personal
I really liked Art's character, and I was like, man, why do you got to do my boy dirty like that? He's doing everything for you.
Yeah. And I also wasn't... I don't know. She was just very... And I think it might have been because they had some money. Yeah. Because of all these things they have won. And as we all know, in real life, big name athletes that are good at what they do, anytime you see any of their family on screen, everyone looks very well put together. Mm-hmm. And Patrick was not. He was a little rough around the edges. Yeah. So to me, they were a very odd couple. Yeah. Because even when she would go out in the middle of the night and see him, she would still look, fabulous. But I think that just because Zendaya is beautiful and she could never,
I mean, it ties the story really well together.
I think so.
Because, he's her not first love because she says, I don't need to fall in love with anybody. But, she falls in love with him through tennis. Mm-hmm. And then... the injury happens, he's not there for her, so that kind of ends things, but I don't think she ever stopped loving him. Right. Even though she said she's not in love. Not. Yes. And then Art's there, to be that friend there, to help her through her rehab. Art never stopped loving her. Art can play tennis, so I can live through him. So Art's just used in this movie, and it sucks. Yeah. My other meh would be the third act minus the last 10 minutes. Okay. When we're going through this... the breakdown of basically the 3 days leading up to the finals, where she cheats again, and she gets in the car and says, throw the match, and I'll sleep with you. Just making these weird deals, and I don't know, that's where the time jumps kind of got to be a bit too much, because they were happening like crazy. Mm-hmm. Again, I liked the time jumps, but right here I was just like, all right, you're pouring a lot out in 20 minutes. I like how it was all wrapped up, though. Yes. The last 10 minutes was awesome. We get the ball to the center of the racket as the sign that... I was
shook by that.
As the sign that they slept together, that went back to the beginning of the movie. Mm-hmm. So I really liked that. And she had no idea. Yeah. That full circle was great. And then, we get the hug, and Zendaya's like, come on, and she's screaming. I thought she was mad, and she's like, yeah, and she starts clapping. She wanted them, honestly. I feel like... you can get the sense that she wanted them not to be a couple, but to be friends again. She didn't want to be that homewrecker. So, I love how it all ended, but that third act seemed like that was the worst of the pacing, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And I would still put the pacing in the good, because for a 2-hour movie, like I said, this was very well paced. I just wish that maybe you extended the movie a little bit and let that third act play out a little more. I don't know.
Yeah, I would have liked to seen a little bit more towards the end. Yeah. Maybe how everything would have all fizzled out and what would have happened between them. Another thing I'm going to put... one more thing I'm going to put in the meh is the scene where Patrick is in the locker room on Tinder or whatever dating.
After the first round matchup, yeah.
And he was just swiping. Was he trying to make her jealous? Or that was before he knew that she was there?
No, what he was doing is, well, first of all, he paused.
Or he was trying to find somewhere to stay.
Yeah.
Right.
He was trying to find somewhere to stay. But he also paused on a guy for 10 seconds, which is another way for Guadagnino to insinuate that he has some homosexual feelings, tendencies. Right. A more blatant way to show that, I would say. If you weren't getting a hint throughout the entire movie. But, he was just looking for a place to stay. He wasn't really trying to make anyone jealous.
And then when they meet again in the lobby, they go
That's
out.
where he was trying to make her jealous.
Yeah, they went out to the back of the hotel, I would assume. And he gives her his number to be his coach. But my thing is... she should have crinkled it up and just threw it on the ground. But she put it in her pocket.
Yeah, she said that would never happen. And it makes sense. She put it in her pocket because she had the plan of asking him to throw the match. Yeah. But you knew that it was going to lead to something more. Yeah. And again, you're just screwing my boy Art by doing it.
Unfortunately. Yeah. He's much better looking,
again,
too. I'll give him that.
It is great storytelling.
It is really good. I'm not a book reader at all. But if this isn't a book, I think it'd be a pretty good book.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't read it.
Yeah. Did you have anything else in the meh?
I don't think so.
Did you have anything for the bad? Because I don't think there was anything bad with this film.
No. Okay. I don't believe so.
So we'll hop over to our final thoughts and ratings then. Sure. Something I do want to say with final thoughts. Again, great storytelling. Mm-hmm. I'm not a big tennis guy. I'm a sports guy, but I don't really watch tennis. Right. I have heard that this is really, really well done depiction of the sport of tennis.
I just watched on TikTok Zendaya and her stunt double, like running drills.
Yeah.
And her stunt double, I don't know, but she looked like she's played a game of tennis or two.
Yeah.
But Zendaya,
you gotta get somebody in there.
Well, yeah, of course. But Zendaya was right there running the same drills. Yeah. She didn't hit the ball with the racket, but she had all the moves, and I was like, wow, she probably could go on. I mean, she's very talented.
Yeah.
Zendaya is, but it was kind of, I love seeing, that's what I like about social media and seeing TikTok, and I don't know how TikTok knows that I went and seen this today with you, and it popped up on my algorithm or whatever, but I like kind of seeing the background, yeah, because it takes a long time to film a movie, but then it takes a long time to learn a whole entire sport.
Yeah. For sure.
But I know they have stunt doubles and things like that, but some of the things you got to learn how to do.
Yeah, that's
which is really interesting to me.
I want to give a shout out where, give credit where credit's due.
It's not an easy sport.
No.
You've played a little for fun.
Yeah.
But
it's not easy. But I want to give credit where credit's due in saying that, I personally can't attest to it, but I've seen that they did a really good job of depicting the sport.
Yeah.
So I want to give credit where credit's due. Where do you leave off this film, and what are you rating it out of 10?
I'm going to leave off with that I wasn't sure what I was I wasn't sure what to expect from it. There was lots of twists and turns I was not expecting. They were good twists and turns, but I'm glad this is one movie the trailer didn't give anything away.
Yeah.
A little bit, but just the love triangle kind of sort of thing.
Not that there's...
Right, no, not all the controversy.
It gives away that it's a battle between the two guys, not that there's tension there as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's... I like that the trailer was minimal and not super invasive of giving away the whole entire story. Mm-hmm. I'm going to rate it pretty high. I'm gonna give it, I'm gonna give it an 8.
Okay. I'm in the same boat.
All right.
I'm an 8 out of 10 for this one as well.
We are never, ever in agreement.
Yeah. Agreement.
Let the record show that we are agreeing for once.
There was a lot to like with this film, so I'd put it in the great category. But there are a few things I can nitpick. Again, like the third act, I think could have been stretched out or changed up a little bit. And my boy Art was done a little dirty. I don't know if this movie has incredibly high replay value. I think it's definitely worth the watch.
Yeah.
I might revisit it down the road, but it's not something I could throw on.
I mean, it's kind of lengthy.
Yeah, it's not something I could just throw on
for funsies
multiple times a year. Like,
no, we'd have to sit down with someone that wants to watch it.
Yeah, so, but I'm gonna give it an 8. I'm gonna give it an 8. It was a great movie. Luca Guadagnino, probably my favorite of his.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, he's a director that's hit or miss for most people. He hasn't missed on anything I've seen of his, but this was probably the one I've enjoyed the most.
Yeah, it was fun.
Bones and All's grown on me a little bit as time's gone on. When we left the theater, I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. But the more I've thought on it, and the more it's grown on, I'd probably say that's a good movie, but I'd still put this definitely ahead of it.
Yeah.
But
I really liked it.
Yeah.
It was well done.
Challengers. That'll do it for Challengers. Thank you, Rosie.
Thank you.
For coming on. I love you.
Love you.
Thank you all for watching. If you like what you're watching, check out some of the other videos. Hit the subscribe button or follow the social links down below. I appreciate anything you do. I appreciate you just watching. So thank you again, and we will talk to you all soon. Peace.
Peace and love.